It seems to me that we have missed a very important detail in our lecture on music, and it can be significant. In 1977, Elizabeth Clare Prophet gave an absolutely wonderful lecture. Its title was Sound, Rhythm, and Music and Their Impact on the Soul and the Flow of Energy in Chakras. And I listened to this lecture recording sometime in the year 2000 during a Summit Lighthouse event in Moscow. That lecture impressed me so much that when I returned to Omsk, I took any opportunity to spread this knowledge to as many people as possible. Thanks to God, people responded and helped me to make a film, The Rhythm of Life. It was shown on Omsk television. With that film, I went to a conference of music professionals. It was around 2001 or 2002. There were about 200 people from the Omsk region, the Tyumen region, even from Novosibirsk and Kemerovo regions, on the whole from several regions of Siberia. All of them were music professionals working either at schools or professional music colleges. So I presented to them that lecture on music. But briefly, I was given about 5 minutes, and I showed them the film The Rhythm of Life. To my surprise, all of those music professionals, music teachers, those who worked with young people, all together began not to scream at me, but to somehow try to show me up. They asked me what my education was and if I had a music degree. I replied that I had a degree in engineering and did not have any music education at all. At that time, they became even more bewildered. And they told me that I understood nothing about music, and that there was good rock music and bad rock music. They asked me not to confuse them, not to disorient them with my non-professional talks. And we parted ways. Perhaps I delivered the information poorly, but at that time I understood that this kind of information doesn't reach people's minds easily. Even during our last coverage of the issue, when we were preparing the lecture based on the book Secrets of Music, we bypassed this topic. The topic is the following. Each person has energy centers or chakras. The teaching says that these chakras have petals, and these petals are divisible by 4. That is 4 over 4, 2 over 4, 3, 4, 6, 8. That is, they are multiples of some certain rhythm. Each chakra is a multiple of its own rhythm. But this rhythm is divisible by 4. Figure 4 must be in the denominator. Chakras pulse in a certain way, each in its own rhythm. But this rhythm is precisely a multiple of 4. Music that we call classical, folk music, mantras, all of them are divisible by rhythm 4. 4. But everything began to change in America when musicians or workers from Africa started using their folk music. That music is voodoo music. What is a voodoo rhythm? The voodoo rhythm is a black magic rhythm that distorts the rhythm of human chakras. It is a multiple of 3. Therefore, when people listen to the music with the wrong rhythm, just by listening to this music, it blocks their chakras, and the chakras close. That means that music has a very subtle impact. And when we listen to music with the wrong rhythm, we block the flow of the divine energy that descends through our chakras into our world. And further distortion began starting with jazz. First jazz, then blues, then rock music, and now there are some newer modern styles of music. All of them are multiple of rhythm 3, and all of them break the rhythm of human chakras. Thus, saying that there is good rock music and there is bad rock music is completely senseless. Any kind of music that is composed with a wrong rhythm, absolutely all of it is destructive to the spiritual development of a human being. It simply cuts the individual off from the divine energy. And then it appears that we discuss how good the performers are, how good their audio equipment is, and the lyrics are good, and the rock music is good, and other things they have are good too. But all these discussions do not make any sense because we have cut off the flow of the divine energy at its source from the very beginning. In other words, we have cut off the hose which delivers the divine energy to our world through our system of chakras. And further reasoning is just senseless, because we have already torn ourselves away from God. Merely by listening to music, it was an absolutely genius invention, of course genius in a diabolical way. It simply turned the entire course of human evolution to a non-divine direction. That's the moment when it occurred, when the wrong rhythm appeared, and now this wrong rhythm is just everywhere. It is in the stores, in the streets, at concerts, in the headphones, in our homes and on our TVs, everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It is impossible to get away from it. And it is the very thing that ultimately cuts us off from God. It's all very simple. It is this technology that leads humanity away from the divine path of evolutionary development. It is a totally disastrous technology. All the rest is a consequence of it. But the reason was that, the distortion of the divine rhythm. These are the clarifications that I wanted to give, because otherwise it is unclear why we started all this talk about music. Maybe we have nothing else to do since we began talking about music. That is the essence, do you see? So people were given tobacco, drugs, and alcohol in order for them to destroy themselves. They were also given music so that they destroy themselves and others, and they were given arms in their hands so that they kill others and themselves. That is it. That is what's happening. The evolution of mankind is simply going in the wrong direction now. Our task is not to prohibit rock music, but to explain to people that just by listening to music and without making any efforts to limit it in the world, we condone the fact that mankind continues to follow the non-divine path of development. From this we have the consumer society. Absolutely all our problems come from this, the wrong rhythm. It's very simple, very simple. It is a genius invention. The rhythms of voodoo. Satanic rhythms. And we should simply spread this information among people. Tell them about it. Of course, it would be good if not I would be talking about it, but a person with music education who is knowledgeable in this field. Because my argument was such that when I listened to rock music, any of it, good or bad, my chakras stop pulsating. Can you imagine in the year 2001 or 2002, music professionals, 200 people, what did they think about me?